Hello, students. Let's look at Unit 5, Assignment 3. This is plural nouns. Again, this is all a review. All of the lessons in this unit should be review, so this should be some familiar information for you. The list here is very handy. It's a handy-dandy little list of noun rules. So let's look at some of them. The first one is probably the most basic, the most common. Most nouns form their plurals by simply adding an S. For example, cats, right? We just add an S. Easy peasy. Okay, so what if the noun ends with something funky, like an S or two S's? I'm going to change my color, sorry. Or SKI, CH, X, or Z. So typically in those cases, we would add an ES. However, the exception here is if that CH ending sounds like a K ending, then we would only add the S by itself. So an example here would be like stomach. Wow. Okay, let me go back to trying to use the mouse here. Okay, stomach is an example. So in this case, we would just add the S. We wouldn't add an E. Okay. If the noun ends with Y, that's preceded by a vowel. So in this case, a noun preceded by a vowel might be something like boy. Okay, we've got a vowel, O, and then a Y. So for that one, we would just add an S. It would be boys. However, if it ends with a Y, which is preceded by a consonant, then we're going to change the Y to an I and add ES. So an example here would be something like city. Okay, we've got our Y, but the thing before it is a consonant, so then it would be cities, right? IES instead of a Y. Okay, what about nouns that end with an O? Well, again, we have to look at what comes before the O. So if there's a vowel before the O, for example, the word studio, I-O, okay, we've got a vowel and then an O. We're simply going to add an S, studios. If we have a consonant, then R-O, and it's a musical term, we're usually just going to add an S. For example, here we've got like soprano. That's a musical term. We would just add our S to it. Oh, that's a funky S. If it ends with an O and is preceded by a consonant in general, it could be S or ES. Most often, it will be an ES, like for example, heroes. We've got our consonant, we've got our O, and then we're going to add an ES. But always check the dictionary if you're not sure. Nouns that end with an F or an FE will sometimes, we'll just add the S on there. An example here might be belief. Okay, belief. If we held several beliefs, right, we just add the S. Or we might change the F or the FE to a V and then add an ES, as in these examples. Knife becomes knives, leaf becomes leaves, and so forth. All right, what about compound nouns? Remember, this is where you've got two nouns, you smush them together to make a new noun, a compound noun. So oftentimes, we're just going to stick the S on the end. So for example, if we have something like cowboy, that plural is just going to be cowboys. Okay. If it's a compound noun, with hyphens, for example, like mother-in-law or sister-in-law, we are going to pluralize the main word, the most important word, which would be mother in this case. So it would be mothers-in-law. Okay. If the noun ends with full, like spoonful or something along those lines, we're just going to add the S. There are several irregular noun plurals where maybe the vowel sound changes, like man becomes min, for example. Sometimes they maintain their old plural ending. Oh no, out of time. I'll continue later.